Welcome back to the channel, college football fans. Today we're breaking down one of the biggest matchups of the weekend, the Oklahoma Sooners versus the Ole Miss Rebels. Two top 15 teams, two explosive offenses, and a whole lot on the line. Let's get into it. Oklahoma comes into this game ranked number 13 in the nation, while Ole Miss sits at number 8. The game will be played at Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma, and it's set for a noon Eastern kickoff on ABC. You can also stream it live on Fubo if you can't catch it on TV. Now, this matchup carries serious implications. For Ole Miss football, this is a big test after a rough outing last week. They're coming off a tough loss to Georgia, where their defense simply couldn't hold up. Georgia scored on every single possession until they decided to run out the clock. That's a tough pill to swallow, and it raises questions about whether this Rebel defense can handle another physical, balanced team like Oklahoma. On the other side, Oklahoma is starting a brutal stretch of games. 5 straight against top 20 SEC opponents to close out their season. This game marks the start of that gauntlet, and it's their chance to prove they belong among the elite teams in the new SEC landscape. Let's start with Ole Mississippi. When their offense is rolling, it's one of the most exciting units in college football. Against Georgia, the Rebels open strong, scoring touchdowns on their first 5 possessions. Quarterback Jackson Dart can sling it, and when that offense gets into rhythm, they can put points on the board in a hurry. But the problem for Ole Miss football hasn't been scoring. It's been stopping anyone else from scoring. That defense gave up yards and points at will, and if they don't clean that up quickly, Oklahoma's balanced attack could cause real problems. Now, Oklahoma's defense might be the best unit on the field in this matchup. They lead their conference in total defense, and they have more sacks than any other Power 4 team. This is a defense that pressures quarterbacks, tackles well in space, and rarely gives up the big play. Head coach Brent Venables has them playing fast, disciplined, and physical football. On offense, Oklahoma is starting to find its groove again. Quarterback John Mateer, a transfer who has been working his way back to full health, is getting more comfortable in the system. Last week, the Sooners showed real signs of life in the running game, led by freshman running back Torrey Blaylock, who rushed for 101 yards and a touchdown on 19 carries. That kind of ground reduction is exactly what this team needs to take pressure off the quarterback and open up the passing game. So how do these teams match up? On paper, Oklahoma's defense should be able to slow down Ole Miss just enough. The Sooners' pass rush and disciplined secondary will test Ole Miss's ability to sustain long drives. Meanwhile, Oklahoma's offense looks balanced and healthier than it's been all season. If they can protect the football and keep the chains moving, they can control the tempo and wear down that Ole Miss defense. The big question for Ole Miss football is whether that defense can bounce back. They have to be more physical at the line of scrimmage and find ways to pressure the quarterback. If Oklahoma's offensive line keeps Mateer clean, the Rebels could be in trouble. But if Ole Miss can create turnovers and get a few stops early, they have the offensive firepower to make this a shootout. Both teams have a lot at stake. For Oklahoma, it's about proving they can compete week in and week out in the toughest stretch of their season. For Ole Miss, it's about redemption, showing that last week's defensive meltdown was an outlier, not a pattern. The CBS Sports prediction gives the edge to Oklahoma. The pick is Oklahoma minus 5.5 points. The reasoning is simple. Oklahoma's defense is too good. Their offense is trending upward, and Ole Miss's defensive issues are too glaring to ignore. Expect Oklahoma to come out strong at home, feed off the crowd, and set the tone early. Ole Miss will put up points. They always do. But unless they can tighten up on defense, it's hard to see them slowing down a balanced Oklahoma team. Final prediction: Oklahoma wins and covers the spread. Something like 34-24 feels about right. That's the breakdown for this week's marquee matchup between Oklahoma and Ole Mississippi. If you're an Ole Miss football fan, keep an eye on how that defense responds. It could define the rest of your season. And if you're a Sooner fan, this is the kind of game that can set the tone for the weeks ahead. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy these weekly previews, hit that like button, subscribe for more college football breakdowns, and let me know in the comments who you think comes out on top, Oklahoma or Ole Miss.